The 2026 NFL Draft first round is officially complete, and it was one of the most insane things I've ever witnessed in my entire life. The amount of talent in this draft class is a little underwhelming, but my God, that first round was one of the most exciting, unusual I've ever seen in my life. I did my mock draft, and I think I had like 2 picks right the entire first round. So much happened, so much confusion, so much out of left field, but it was fun. And here we're going to be grading every single pick to tell you who did good, who did bad, who was kind of meh. So much, so like I can't even wrap my mind around what we just witnessed, because that was probably the most unexpected first round I've seen in probably my life. Anyways, let's see who did good. Let's see who did bad. First pick in the first round, Fernando Mendoza. We all expected that. That's like, I say I got 2 picks right in the first round. I don't know if Mendoza counts, because I think we've all known that for ever since the draft order was finalized. But Mendoza goes 1. I could definitely see him becoming a Pro Bowler quarterback, especially him and Tom Brady. They mesh so well, I feel like. It's going to take some time, though. The Raiders fans got to be patient with them. That team is just so bad. Like, you saw what happened with Genty last year. I think Mendoza's going to help them out. And they, like, outside of Brock Bowers, like, what they really got for him to throw to, maybe they get a receiver in the second round. Denzel Boston's still on the board. But in the meantime, like, got to be patient with them. But give Mendoza 3 years, and I'd be shocked if he was not a top half. Maybe give him 4 years. I'd be shocked if he's not like at least top 16 quarterback in the league. So, I mean, for how bad the quarterback position has been for them the past couple of seasons, man, this is an A pick. It's definitely an A pick. Now, David Bailey, too, this is where the draft already got crazy, because the rumors had Arvell Reese going to for the last probably 3 or 4 days. They canceled David Bailey's visit last minute. Everybody's like, oh my God, that's because they didn't know, they didn't want David Bailey anymore. They'd already settled on Arvell Reese. They didn't want to waste anybody's time. Turns out they canceled it because they already knew they wanted David Bailey. So, like, they couldn't have gone wrong here. Either them, David Bailey, or Arvell Reese. He's the best, I guess, pass rusher in the draft. He's a little iffy against the run, not a complete player or anything. But best pass rusher in the draft, the Jets needed it. They signed a bunch of handcuff pass rushers in free agency that probably won't be there for long. And they needed it bad. They decided him over Arvell Reese, and I don't mind it at all. It's an A pick. It's an A pick, and now this is where I hate everything. It's where I hate it all. One of my Titans to take Jeremiah Love, the Cardinals snatch him up. After re-signing James Conner, after signing Ty Algier, and just spending pretty high draft capital for a running backs situation a couple years ago, getting Trey Benson, they still draft Jeremiah Love. So that's interesting. Trey Benson might end up getting cut. But this, I totally thought was going to be Arvell Reese or David Bailey. I thought there was rumors they were going to trade down to maybe 9 to the Chiefs, or maybe whatever the Cowboys was picking, 12. They stick and pick and take Jeremiah Love and ruin my life. Hate it. Hate it all. Like, let's calm down on the surface really quick. I know it looks bad, and this is probably everybody's least favorite pick in the draft. Like, they probably would, like, let's actually give them a little bit of credit here. So, their quarterback situation screwed. Jacoby Brissett, not the long-term guy. Played well last year, didn't win a game, though, I don't think. So, they got to figure out quarterback, which they really could next year. They're not going to have a good season, more than likely. Will they have a bad enough season to pick maybe top 5 next year? Probably. I don't think they're going to, like, finish with the worst record in the NFL, but even if they don't, like, if they have a top 5 pick, they're going to be able to get a good quarterback next year in the draft, because it's such a deep draft class. Like, whether it be a Dante Moore, an Arch Manning, Brennan Sorsby, Sam Levitt. There's a lot of quarterbacks that'll be coming out next year that are top 5 caliber. I probably missed a ton on top of my head. But the whole reason me saying that, you get Jeremiah Love now, for whoever you say they so happen to draft Arch Manning next year, and pretend this is 2027. You'll have a rookie Arch Manning with Jeremiah Love, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, Michael Wilson still potentially, and they still could draft another receiver. That's not a bad situation for a young quarterback to go into. So I understand it more than other people, but I still am mad. I'm still mad about it. So I honestly give it a B. A lot of people probably give it a worse grade than that. I give it a B+. Which takes me to my Tennessee Titans, which I never in a million years. I thought I was totally this entire time, the last 3 months, expecting Jeremiah Love here. We needed somebody. We needed somebody desperately to help out Cam Ward on that offense. And who better else, I guess, than a wide receiver? I totally thought when Arvell Reese fell here, it was going to be Arvell Reese. But no, we passed up on him for Cornell Tate. And I don't hate it. I kind of wish we traded down with one of the teams that wanted to trade up, rather be the Chiefs. The Saints maybe wanted to trade up a little bit. That was the rumor. The Cowboys. I probably would have preferred that, but you cannot be mad at taking arguably the best wide receiver in the draft for your young quarterback that desperately needs help. So it wouldn't have been my first option, but I honestly like this better than Arvell Reese just because I think the most important thing next year for my Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward is to help him out. And like I said, who better to help him out than a wide receiver? Like maybe Arvell Reese was the better value pick here, but I can't be mad at it at all. I'm relatively pleased. I give it an A-. Give it an A-. So a lot of people think otherwise, but I give it an A- as a Titans fan. Now, Arvell Reese here, this is the first A++++ of the draft. Him falling to 5 is insane value. The Giants did such a good job. I really don't combining him, man, with Abdul Carter, both on rookie contracts, that defense could get nasty. I know they just traded away Dexter Lawrence, but that's a good young combo to have in that front seven, especially if he reaches his potential like people think he will. Like maybe he becomes a Micah Parsons type player. But that's a great pick, I feel like. They were thinking about taking Sonny Styles there. I think Arvell Reese is head and shoulders a better player, especially for what they need. So this is my first A++++ pick just based off of true value. Now, this is going to be like my first C. The Chiefs trade up. I was totally expecting like a wide receiver or an offensive lineman or maybe an edge rusher. But Mansoor Delane, that's crazy. That is crazy. They probably still could have got him at 9. So I know the Chiefs, they got rid of a bunch of their cornerbacks in the offseason via trade or they just didn't re-sign them. But the Chiefs are known for taking those cornerbacks from the mid rounds, maybe second round, and turning them to all pro players. And so I was totally expecting them just to waste maybe 2 or 3 of their day 2, 3 picks on cornerback. No, they trade up. The first time the Chiefs have a top 10 pick since Patrick Mahomes has been quarterback. First time they've been picking the top 20 since Mahomes has been quarterback. And they're probably never picking the top 10 again the rest of his career. And they don't spend it on a premium position. So this is the biggest question mark of the draft up to this point by far. Is he Delane's a great player. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing about the player. It's just about the situation and everything else. I think it's a C, maybe a C-. Just especially having to trade for that, they much could have had another number 2 receiver, even though because Rashee Rice might not even be there after this next season because he probably won't get a contract extension since he's a nutcase. Hopefully he gets his act together because I'm a proud, not so proud Rashee Rice dynasty owner. But anyways, I don't like the pick. Good player, but I do not like the pick. Everything around it as a C, maybe a C-. Maybe my least favorite pick of the entire first round. Sonny Styles, another one. I just give it an A+. I know he's a linebacker, non-premium position, off-ball linebacker, but him and Arvell Reese getting falling where they did, that's just incredible value. Incredible value for the potential of these players, their ceilings. So that's another one that's an A+. A+ pick for the Commanders. You cannot go wrong with taking him at 7. Now, the Saints, Jordyn Tyson, this is an A. This is not what I expected at all. I thought maybe Cornell Tate was more the spot here, but they couldn't take him because, the Titans took him. I think Jordyn Tyson is the best overall talented wide receiver in the draft, and I don't think it's close. The problem is his injury history, and that's just not being skittish about the pick. It's a real thing. He's been so injured in his career. So injured. If he can stay healthy, dude, this is an A+, but may be the best value in the entire draft at the end of the day. But it's just rather not he can stay healthy, and that's kind of a little iffy going into New Orleans to got Cornell Tate, you have Chris Olave with the concussion problems, and he really could be a concussion away from retiring, honestly, and you hope not because he's such a good receiver. And then Jordyn Tyson with his injury history. If they can stay healthy, though, what a freaking combination for Tyler Shough. So for Tyler Shough, dude, this is incredible. But still, even with the injury history, this is still an A pick for me. He's just such a good player. You give him your young quarterback another great option. You'd like to think, even though they both kind of have some injury problems that keep them out of ball games, at least maybe one of them will be healthy at a time. So I think for Tyler Shough's sake, this is an A, without a doubt. Now, this is interesting. Spencer Fano, the Browns traded back. They needed wide receivers so bad. So bad, which they did get one. But this is just not what I expected. I don't even know if he's really a tackle. He might have to play guard. Like, they did need offensive line help, but you'd like to think, like, they try to, that wide receiver room is so bad. When he had a chance to get a Tyson, like, he traded down. So that was really surprising to me. This is just kind of like a meh pick, probably like a B, because I personally think Francis Mauigoa is the best offensive lineman in the draft, and that's another one I don't think was really close. And they not only traded down, they passed on him. So let's just go ahead. This is another A pick, probably an A+ pick. The Giants knocked it out the freaking park in the first 10 picks. They got themselves a franchise offensive lineman, a potential franchise pass rusher, all in the top 10. That's insane value for the Giants. So this one, I just can't believe they passed up on Maui. I thought they had bigger needs. I would actually rather Monroe Freeling here, but I think this is probably a B-, maybe a C+, and this right here, this is another A for the Giants. Now this A+, Caleb Downs, even though he's a safety non-premium position, at 11, the Cowboys trade up for him. Maybe just an A, since they did have to, use some assets to trade up for him. I think. Well, did they only trade up one spot? Regardless, they had to trade up for him, and he's just, like, honestly, probably a top 5 player in the draft value-wise, or just pure talent-wise. So them getting him at 11, that's an A pick. Great pick for that Cowboys secondary. Now this is a D. It's a D+. Even as an Alabama fan, man, what a crazy 2 picks in a row as an Alabama fan growing up. Oh my, like, what in the world? Caden Proctor, man, such a hit or miss player. He has the sky high potential, but unfortunately, you didn't really see it a lot the last couple years. Not at least consistently. And the fact of the matter is, man, the Dolphins have so many needs. And with Malik Willis as their new starting quarterback, gave him a ton of money. You want him to succeed there. And how in the world do you want him to succeed with that wide receiver room that he has, man? He literally has Jalen Tolbert, shout out, South Alabama alum, love the guy. They have Jalen Tolbert, they have Malik Washington and Tutu Atwell, and I think Taj Washington. Those are the 4 receivers Malik Willis has to throw to. That's like the same caliber receiver he had when he had to be thrown to the Wolves as a Titan, and he didn't really succeed as a rookie. I mean, he's much better now than he was as a rookie, but you got to give the guy weapons. And you pass up on a receiver in Mekhi Lemon, and you could even trade down, maybe get an Omar Cooper or something. But going Caden Proctor here at 12, that's just crazy to me. Crazy. So I hate the pick. More maybe the 20th, 20 spot, 17 to the Lions wouldn't have been bad. But just for how, wide receiver is their biggest need, I feel like, especially for their quarterback. And then they take a guy way above value, like Caden Proctor. This is a D+. This is, to me, so far, it's close to the Chiefs pick, but no, not really, because Mansoor Delane's a good player. Caden Proctor is just more of a big what if. So this is, I would not be surprised if we look at this draft 5 years down the line, and this is the biggest L of the class, which also could be Ty Simpson if he doesn't pan out. What a shocker. Biggest shocker of the first round. Dan Orlovsky, like we all know, he's been a all over Ty Simpson the past few months, and he's right, validated. Didn't in a million years think he'd be drafted this high. Maybe at the end of the first round, the Cardinals trade up for him, but no. Sean McVay sees Ty Simpson as the Matthew Stafford eventual replacement, and if Sean McVay believes it, I wholeheartedly believe in him as well. As an Alabama fan, I saw the flashes. First half of the season last year, I thought he was going to be the number 1 pick. And oh my God, he played so bad. But apparently he was injured, though. So we'll have to see. And he obviously is going to sit for a while. The biggest question after this pick is, how long is Matt Stafford going to play? I thought he was going to I thought more than likely Matt Stafford was going to sign an extension. That was kind of the rumor. But apparently not. Which he still could. This could be like a Jordan Love situation where he sits for 3 years or so, which I guess I don't think the Rams would be too mad about that, because this is basically a free pick for me. And they traded out of the first round last year, got a free pick from the Falcons, and this was a Falcons pick, and they potentially got themselves a franchise quarterback, even if you have to sit for a few years. So maybe if you're a Rams fan, you're like, man, dude, we're we're real Super Bowl contenders, so we could have used this incredible value pick for somebody that could help us next year. But the problem is, this draft was so bad, maybe there's not really anybody that they thought could help them this year. So you get your quarterback of the future, dude. He actually pans out, dude. This could be the best value pick of the entire draft, and what a trade that would end up being. So this is one you can't really grade. I'll give it a B, because maybe they could have used somebody, like I said, to really help them for this year, to really go on a Super Bowl run. But this is something you have to come back to. This is just a big shock value here. Now, Vega, guard out of Penn State to the Ravens. Boring pick, but a solid one. I think the best guard in the draft, best true guard. B plus, B plus. This is actually the only other pick I got right out of my mock draft. So shout out. Now Ruben Bain, an A. Could not believe he fell all the way to 15. I guess teams were more worried than what I thought about his arm length. Which to be true, if I'm not wrong, this stat is I think there's never like with his short arms. He's very short arms. That's his problem. Even though he's an absolute freaking menace at Miami and in general, he incredible bend as well. But the problem is his arms are so short. I don't think anybody in NFL history, since they started like recording measurements, has had arms his length or shorter has ever recorded more than double-digit sacks in a season. So I think that scared some teams at the top of the draft. And I got to wondering, is this going to be another crazy situation where a player we think goes top 10 or at least maybe top 5 falls all the way to the first round? But still, 15 for Ruben Bain is 10 out of 10 value. This is another A, maybe A-plus pick for me. Leading into Kenyon Sadiq, which, off the surface, I was like, man, you need wide receiver more than anything. But we'll touch on that a little bit later. I think, like, Mason Taylor, I thought he was going to be a long-term tight end, but apparently not. I guess he could play too. So this was another shocker to me. I still am not convinced that he's the best overall tight end in the class. I will be shocked. I think he'll be a good starter, but nothing phenomenal. Not a Pro Bowl caliber player. But I suppose it's not horrible when you're just needing to add talent, needing to add weapons, because he's got some raw talent to him. I'm still iffy on him, but I think it's not horrible. It's like a B. It's a B pick for me. And then to Clemson's Blake Miller going to the Lions, which is where I thought Caden Proctor was going to go. I thought that was his ceiling. Apparently not. The Dolphins thought differently. But I think, honestly, like, they need offensive line help desperately. The Lions' offensive line, you compare what it was now, like to how the offensive line was like 3 years ago, it's night and day difference. The offensive line a few years ago was an absolute strength for them. Now it's one of their biggest weaknesses. So they needed, like, obviously at this point, he was their best tackle on the board. I thought Monroe Freeling was the best tackle on the board by far. I think Monroe Freeling is a better tackle than Caden Proctor, at least into the future, like raw traits and whatnot. But can't really, like, Dan Campbell, I think is a little bit smarter than me, you know? So they have Blake Miller as their top on the board. Wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being all pro for him because Dan Campbell's just a great coach. But it's not a great pick. It's what they needed. It fits a huge need. They would have gone anything other than offensive tackle. I'd have been shocked. But nothing. It's okay. I say B pick. Caleb Banks, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm gonna tell you right then and there. I don't like the pick at all. I didn't think he would even be a first round player. This is probably, honest to God, probably a D plus pick. This is probably my second or third least favorite pick in the draft. Like, he has potential, but I don't know. I don't think he's gonna pan out. But I could be that this is gonna be something that gets clipped years in the future. Now Monroe Freeling, I love it. I thought the Panthers, this is maybe where Kenyon Sadiq would have went, but protecting for Bryce Young, Freeling is one of those players again that has an incredible ceiling but a really low floor. But just based on, like, the value again, falling to 19, this is another, I'll give it a B+. B+ pick, and this one I hate the most. God, Mekhi Lemon, go to the Eagles at 20. Talk about good value. And I think this is just the writing in the stars. A.J. Brown is going to be a Patriot in a month or so. And I hate it because, like, how does Howie keep getting away with this? He literally, like, his draft strategy every year is like, hey, let's look at Mel Kiper's, like, top value board, and whoever falls to us, the highest player on the true value board when we pick is who we're going to take, and it just continues to work every single year. It's just like whatever good player everybody thinks is going to get taken top 10 or top 15 that falls, they just trade up and get them, or they stick and pick. It's crazy. Last year, it just happens every year. So Mekhi Lemon coming in as an A.J. Brown replacement, and they're probably going to get a first-round pick and more for A.J. Brown. It's just like, my God, how do they keep doing it? It's an A. Probably an A+. Honestly, an A+. It's an A+ pick. Mekhi Lemon, he's a top 10 value player in the draft, and how he fell to 20, I don't know. Like, the Panthers could have taken him. I mean, the Jets, I'm surprised they didn't take him. Dude, Mekhi Lemon would have been incredible outside of Garrett Wilson, man. Bucks could have even taken him. Any of these teams, except maybe these two, could have taken him, and it would have been a great pick. So, A, that's an A. Maximum here, tackle. Not really what I expected. I thought he was going to be later in the first round, but Steelers, they definitely can use offensive line help. They have a lot more other, like, they could have gone wide receiver as well. This maybe could have been a Ty Simpson spot. Still don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. But if Aaron Rodgers does come back, you do like to have yourself a nice young tackle for that 40-year-old quarterback to protect him. Now they've kind of they haven't made the best offensive line picks the last couple of years. I think the Steelers fans are a little tired of taking offensive linemen that don't pan out too well. But I think he's a good pick. I don't think it's anything flashy, but I think a good B pick. Now Keem Mesidor here, this just feels like a Jim Harbaugh pick. Like the only thing is he's like 25 years old. Not going to be 26, is he? But what a breakout season for him at Miami last year. I mean, him and Ruben Bain were just insane alongside that defensive end position, alongside that defensive line for Miami. This just feels like an incredible pick for Harbaugh here at the Chargers. Just feels like a Harbaugh player. I thought maybe a little bit later in the first round, but I don't hate it at all. This is a good B+. And Malachi Lawrence, too, maybe a little bit higher than what I thought, but I think at this point was the best edge in the draft. So they traded up to felt really. Oh no, they traded down. They traded down, and they still got him. They needed edge rush help. They get him. He's another really raw player that could just pan out to be nothing, but just based off of pure traits, one of the most athletic edges in the draft. I like it a lot for the Cowboys. This is another B+. Casey Concepcion for the Browns. They need a wide receiver really bad. They could have got some better ones a little bit earlier in the draft, but they traded back, missed out on Jordyn Tyson, set up for Casey Concepcion, and I will say I'm not personally his biggest fan. But at least they did land a wide receiver, which they had to. So I don't hate it at all. I would have rather them taken Omar Cooper or Denzel Boston, but who am I? So just based off the fact they hit a big need, it's a B+ pick for me. Now, Dylan, what a pick. The Bears had a huge need at safety. They got rid of every single safety in the offseason. And he's one of those players, again, that I think he just fell because of the safety value. Honestly, I thought he was going to go 18 to the Vikings. He falls all the way to 25, which I mean, it fits a huge need for the Bears. I think they were ecstatic to take him here to fill that big need. That's got to be probably an A-, maybe an A pick. And then Keelan Rutledge here for the Texans. I mean, probably the best guard at this point in the draft, quite easily. And the Texans, God, do they need to protect for C.J. Stroud. That offensive line has been so bad. And what better to do than to probably honestly add the best offensive lineman in the draft as a whole at this point. So that's an A pick for me. Maybe A-, maybe B+, something around there. Now this is a C again. Not anything against Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, a really good cornerback that maybe my Titans could have taken in the second round, but I felt like he's a much more of a second round player than anything. And again, like my God, dude, like the Dolphins have many more big needs than cornerback. Wide receiver, dude. But they go Chris Johnson. That's just, again, that's not at all what I thought was going to go down there. I think a C- pick. Nothing against the player, just like for what the Dolphins need. Caleb Lomu for the Patriots, they traded up for him. So he started, I think, 3 straight years for Utah. I'm really wondering if they end up kicking Will Campbell into guard with how bad he played last year down the stretch. So if he ends up being the starting left tackle, good pick. I don't know. It's like nothing. It's just like you got to wait and see on this one. It's a B for me. Peter Woods, shocked that they did not take Omar Cooper or Denzel Boston here. I don't hate the pick at all, though. It's just kind of surprising they didn't go wide receiver. So it's nothing against the player. I'm surprised actually that there's some other defensive line. I'm surprised Caleb Banks went above him, and not only just went above him, went 12 picks above him. So just based off of that, dude, I'd give that a B+. Or more like a B. Now, Omar Cooper to the Jets, this is an A. Him falling to 30 shocks me. I thought he could have gone maybe 16, maybe even a little bit higher. Maybe even could have gone in the Rams as a ceiling. But them getting a really good edge rusher in David Bailey, the best edge rusher in the draft. They also got arguably best tight end in the draft. I don't necessarily think so. It's maybe more tied than what people think. But got arguably best tight end in the draft. And then they just got one of the best wide receivers in the draft. They got him at 30. They did have to trade up for him, though. So I guess that kind of keeps it from being an A+ pick, having to use extra value and some draft picks. But I think this is more than likely going to be a solid wide receiver, too, for that offense for a while outside of Garrett Wilson. So I'm getting a good pick, A. Now, here's my Tennessee Titans. A shocker. I did not expect us to trade up. But we take Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. And here's the thing. Like, I didn't necessarily like him too much coming out, but he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of those raw traits that you look for. He just never was able to put it together at Auburn, but he does have those raw traits. And let me tell you something. Of all people that I'm not going to doubt, it's not going to be Robert Saleh when it comes to evaluating anybody in the defensive side of the football. I was really shocked to see us jump up into the end of the first round. Like the TikTok brain of me was like kind of hoping we doubled up at receiver and got Denzel Boston here. But again, edge was probably our other biggest position of need on the entire team. And you make an argument that he's the best edge left in the draft at this point. A lot of people, I mean, he was projected to go possibly top 20. Like anywhere from maybe like 25 to maybe as high as the Buccaneers at 15. So getting him in the first round, he was the last player left in the green room. So good for him. That like I hate when you see those players in the green room and they don't get drafted. So he's the last one there. He was thankful to be taken. So he's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And I feel like if anybody's going to have him reach his potential, it's going to be Robert Saleh. So just based on the fact that it was our biggest position left, like of need on the entire team, Keldrick Falk, let's give it a B+. And then Jadarian Price, I felt that there was potential that this was going to happen. This is the third time in history that two running backs in the first round were drafted from the same team. Two Notre Dame running backs, Jeremiah Love 3, Jadarian Price 32. It was Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams in 05. It was Darren McFadden. And why can't I think of the other guy's name? Oh, my Felix Jones from Arkansas, I think in 08. So the third time in history, the same running back from the same college was drafted in the first round, two of them. So Jadarian Price, though, like obviously this is Kenneth Walker replacement. And there was rumors they wanted to trade out of the first round. I just think they didn't get good enough offers because, I mean, the Titans moved. Everybody moved up that already wanted to move up. They stick and pick. I mean, it's a big position of need. It's just like what really happens now for him because, you know, they got him and Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. They were splitting carries. It was a really weird situation. So it was like, does he take over or do they just split carries again? It's like if they do split carries, it's like taking a running back, the last pick in the first round, that just splits carries is kind of weird. But again, he's a really good running back. So they really didn't have many positions in need. So why not replace Kenneth Walker with somebody on a cheaper contract who could turn out to be better? So, I mean, just like it's kind of, it is what it is. It doesn't really surprise me that much. I give it a B. Maybe even we'll stick it a B. So there it is, man. The craziest first round of my life. Whether or not there's two all-pros out of this draft remains to be seen. I'll be shocked if there is. I think there's a lot of good starters, but just no generational talents here. Not many. Maybe one. But we'll see. A fun first round nonetheless. Let me know what you thought about your team did in the comment section below. Subscribe and stuff. This is a weird second channel. I don't even know if anybody watched this, but hopefully you enjoyed for one reason or another.